Raphael, and so the following video there's going to be some pretty cool stuff that you haven't seen before. And so part of what's going on in that the content here is a little bit different is that I just got a GoPro camera, and so finding out what all the ideal settings for it are and everything like that, it's relatively new for me. So what I discovered is that when I'm cycling and narrating, the microphone from the camera is picking up all the sound. I may eventually have to get what's called a cat gut. It's not a cat gut, but a dead cat. It's not an actual dead cat, but it's sort of to filter out some of the sound. So in the following video, what you're going to see is that in some parts I'm narrating as I'm writing, and in other parts I'm narrating separately but about the same thing. So take a look at it, please enjoy it, and I hope that you will subscribe and hit the like button and share. And remember, this is for the Triumph Foundation to get more awareness for people that have suffered spinal cord injuries. So support the ride. We can connect on Facebook, we can connect on Instagram. Check the description, check the link in the description below, and also GoFundMe. If you want to support this ride, that option is also available for you. So thank you very much, and I hope that you enjoy the next video. Good morning, everyone. It's Raphael, and it's been a bit since I've done any of the videos, but today I thought I'd take you on a training course to see what it is that I do on a typical day. We're going to go through urban environments. We're also going to go through some nice suburbs and finally ended up at the beach. You can see I've got most of my bike is set up. So I've got Triumph Foundation, yes. I'll be carrying stuff here, I'll be carrying stuff in the back, and here I'll be carrying my electronics. And what you see here also is my solar charger. So right now we are at the Santa Ana River Trail. You guys can take a look. But we're not going to stay here. It's only going to be for about a mile, and from here on out we're going to go ahead and see everything else that's going on. And by the way, today is St. Patrick's Day, so I'll probably be talking a lot about that along our journey. All right, we'll talk to you soon. So I'm riding through a pretty urban area, and it's just to get out of the city. So when you live in a densely populated area, you're always going to be saying that there's not a lot of bike lanes. It's about 10 a.m. and traffic is actually really light. The problem is that sometimes they don't see you, so you have to be careful. And when I'm riding, I kind of imagine that every car is like a big beast, like a whale. They don't see you. Because if I think that the drivers are going to see me, drivers out here, they're looking for other cars. They're looking for other drivers, not to hit. They're not looking for something smaller, like on a bike. So, and then there's people that are texting when they're on the phone. They're not paying attention. I have a mirror on my helmet, and I can see cars behind me. So I try to be as careful as possible, because they don't see. That's when you can particularly get hit. So even though you have downtown areas or central areas like this, you still have some pretty cool spots. You have parks and bike trails and bike lanes. But one of the other challenges when I'm riding out here is that you can see the ground sometimes is pretty uneven. It's got a lot of cracks and whatnot, and you know, early in the day you don't really feel it, so it's okay. But then towards the end of the ride, you know, you're out there for 5, 6, 7 hours, man, your butt really starts to hurt and you feel every tiny little bump. But the bumps also contribute to impact on your elbows and your shoulders. So I got to be really careful with that too. So being mindful of keeping my elbows bent, and so on. So you can see up here, you see this a lot in the city. They're doing road work. You got a crew out here working on all kinds of different stuff. I'm happy to see everybody's wearing their mask. But again, urban areas, a little bit challenging. Funny thing is that it's St. Patrick's Day, and I'm going through a Mexican neighborhood. Nobody here celebrating St. Patrick's Day. But here's the funny thing. In Mexico, they do have a place in northern Mexico dedicated to a special division called the Patricians. And the reason for that is that during the Irish famine, you had a lot of people that were starving to death in Ireland, but at the same time had serious conflict with the royal government. It's still going on today, right? So one of the problems that they had was that the men were being forced into the British military and to fight on the side of the British. And whenever the British went in to okay, so I almost the camera's still over there too. The British would go in, they'd send in the Irish first, use them up as cannon fodder. And cannon fodder is when you're just getting out there and getting shot. And then they would just decimate entire Irish units and so on. So when they come to America, America had a lot of conflicts at the time. They had the Indian Wars, and they were expanding the West and, you know, using the military to enforce that. And they were making incursions into other lands that belonged to like Mexico and stuff like that. And they were pretty close to the Civil War. Well, what they were doing is that the guys were getting off the boats, Irishmen were getting off the boats straight to the military. And the same thing was happening to them too, because a lot of the officers were not Irish, they were Scotsmen or descendants of Englishmen and so on. And so large divisions near Texas defected to Mexico, and they fought as Irish divisions basically in Mexico. So that's up in northern Mexico. That's what it's recognized as down there, but they don't have a St. Patrick's Day. It's a great celebration, I think, and I'll talk a little bit about that later on. So I'm leaving the urban area. I'm in this industrial area, and pretty soon I'll be in a pretty sweet spot. You guys will like it. Cool. So we got out of the city, out of the urban area, and are now in the city of Irvine. I just came from Santa Ana, and as you can see, there's like really cool spots to cycle. A lot of people like to come here to train, to walk. You see people rollerblading here a lot, or a great deal, I should say. So I have some pretty interesting stuff about the city of Irvine. It's typically ranked like the top 5 safest cities in America. One of the really great things about this city is that it's sort of like the Silicon Valley of the South. There's huge tech industry in this area. Oracle, Google, they've all got buildings here. And it's also really big in the medical device industry. So really big companies like, you know, Johnson & Johnson, Bebron, my old stomping grounds, Applied Medical. That's a little further down though, but they have a facility out here. So it's a really great town. It is also one of the most diverse cities in America. It may not seem like it because there's like a lot of open spaces, and it's predominantly suburban. No, it's it's just about entirely suburban. But you have a lot of Americans of all these different descents. Yeah, you don't have the surf liner in Texas, I'm just saying. But so you have a lot of Americans of Chinese descent, Americans of India descent. You have Americans of Persian descent. There's a very large American Persian community out here. Sobekher, from my Persian friends. Like I said, it's just a really great place to go cycling, training. It's a tiny incline, so I'd say it's about maybe like 1 or 2 degrees. But when I train here and I come back, good morning. When I train here and I come back, yeah, none of them said good morning. Whatever. It's great because it's like gravity's pulling you down. Even if it's just a little bit, there's no wind resistance. It's fantastic. If you can see To my left, that's right along the 5 freeway. And that mountain range up there is called the Saddleback Mountain Range. Occasionally it'll snow up there. Not really. But when it does, it's really a sight. A lot of people want to go hiking up there to the very top, but it's fenced off because they have all these antennas. And to get there, it's like you have to have a truck because they have a lot of service roads just to get to the point where you start to hike. But it's just a really, really great place. And that's a little bit about the city of Irvine and where I'm training. What do they got here? They got some kind of service vehicle. Orange County Transit Authority. You guys think it's weird that the county bus company has a truck on a bike trail in the middle of nowhere? A little ironic, right? So sometimes when you're on your bike and you're in an urban area, you need to use the restroom. I'm just saying, there's no bathrooms or anything like that. And I'm wondering about people that, because of COVID, everything is closed down. So you can't find a public restroom to go into, you can't go into a coffee shop, use their restroom, you can't, maybe a gas station, you know? But then you're worried about the germs and all that. But that's a tricky part. So even like water intake, I don't want to end up getting dehydrated, but if I drink too much water, then it's like, oh man, I really gotta use the restroom. What do I do? And it's not like, I mean, because think about it, you can't just pull over right here. That would be gross, right? Maybe even get a ticket or something. Yeah, so it's an industrial part. I'm in an industrial area. There's not a lot of residential areas here. And I think that for most of my training route, there are no industrial areas. So far, the trip has been relatively flat. And I kind of like that because what happens is that it's almost like it takes an hour and a half to 2 hours for my legs to really get warmed up. And I'm not saying like, you know, like boxers will take like 10 minutes, but it takes that long. By the time I get to hills and climbing, my legs have gotten a pretty good workout already. So I get a much bigger benefit. One of the things that I've been doing is that I've been training on Saturdays up this one hill with a bunch of weight on my back. But starting with fresh legs, it kind of wasn't doing the same thing for me. Now, if I cycled about an hour and a half to 2 hours before I took that hill, oh, it was great. I was really struggling to go up that hill. Excuse me. There's a hill in Dana Point, which you'll see later on. That's a hill. I couldn't even finish it the last time I did it. I got maybe 80%, 85% of the way, but you'll see it if you keep watching. So keep watching.
So we're a little further south, South Orange County, that is, California. And we're at Nelly Gale Ranch. It's really, really great community. Some of this, what I'm doing here is I've started some of my hill climbing. It's a little bit steep, but I really like this community. The cool thing about this area is that, you know, if you can maintain to have a horse, and you need a really good place for them, this ranch is pretty cool. And most people that live here do have horses, and so they choose to live out here. The very cool thing about this particular area is that, you know, about 20 years ago, none of this was developed. And some people that came out here were like, you know, why would you buy anything out here? It's the middle of nowhere. But I think that a lot of the people who first came out here and bought in the area, they had the foresight, and they knew that there was going to be urban sprawl, there's going to be a lot of spreading out, and they'd be able to come out here. And so they got the development at a very, very good price, and now it's worth way, way more. And, you know, maybe they wouldn't be able to do it now the way they were back then, but, you know, this is just a really, really great place. There were more places that had horses that were closer to the urban areas, but as it got more urbanized, like off the Santa Ana River Trail in Santa Ana, the people couldn't keep horses there anymore. So they come out here, and this is a really great place. A lot of times, if you're out here, you'll see people on horseback, and they're very nice, and you can ask them like, oh, what do you do for a living? And they're like, oh, I'm an investment banker, or I'm an equity manager, or my dad's a surgeon, or something like that. And so, not to sound snobbish or anything, but I think that it's really great that if you live in an area like this and you have a luxury vehicle that you worked for, like 20 years, the area is gated, so you can park your car if you feel like parking out on the street. If you're visiting a friend and you're going to park, you don't have to worry about it getting dinged. Like I said, maybe it sounds a little snobbish, but if you work really hard for it over so many years to develop a community, it's a really great community out here, by the way. To develop a community, to develop your business or whatever it might be, it's not a bad place. And some places that might look like this, if you're from the LA area, you might think of like Palo Verde, Rancho Palo Verde, and it's beautiful. It looks like this. There's horseback riding. The homes are very, very well designed. And so this is what? Technology, Saddleback Technology Park. But the homes might be well designed in Palo Verde and looks like this, but everything's far away. So here, what's really great is that the freeway is right there, right down the street. So if you're on the left of me, the freeway is right there, and it's everything's close by. So the hospitals, shopping centers, schools, everything's close by. But you really don't get in other areas, and we're also pretty close to the beach. So if you want to go to the beach, it's also really close to this area. This city also, I think that they make pretty good strides to try to make it wheelchair accessible, because most of the places that you pass by and you see that everything, all the curbs are made so that somebody that's in a wheelchair can come by here. And I like it here too, because as you can see, there's not a lot of traffic. So if you want to get a good workout, you want to cycle, if you want to push, this is a really good place for it. And I'm going up a hill, and I'll be coming down this hill pretty quickly. But Orange County, this area also, it's really great if you have opportunity. I gotta stop saying the word really, right? But if you are in certain industries like the finance industry, there's a lot of work for you down here. If you are in the medical device industry, if you're in the sciences, there's a lot of work for you down here. And it's just a really great spot to live. There's great parks, great cycling, good restaurants, and it's just overall a really fantastic place. When I was a kid, I used to like reading comic books, and one of the things that I remember seeing in it is that I remember that the houses that were drawn sometimes in these comic books, as I got older, I started learning that they were based off designs of houses that were like in the south of France, like in the Provence region or in the Tuscany region of Italy. And this area, I think that a lot of people basically took that same model and they said, let's start making homes that look like that. A lot of the builders out here and a lot of the architects and a lot of the customers, they wanted quality homes that look luxurious with really good gardens. And it's kind of a good, perfect blend with the multiple communities in this area that are very friendly. For example, the guys that do all the home building, they're all Latinos. The people that work on the yards are all Latinos. The people that sell the artwork might not be Latinos, but they're from all over the world. The homeowners are typically from here, but they're also very accepting. Like, they will let a stranger from an immigrant community watch over their children. They'll trust them with the lives of their children to take care of them. So it's really fantastic. There's a real sense of community in this area. If you remove politics aside, everybody here is just basically nice. And I think that they have a lot more in common than they do apart. And you'll see in a little bit what I mean about these homes that look like the ones that you might find in Tuscany or somewhere in France and stuff. It's really fantastic.
got a smaller hill. It wasn't too bad, but I passed by. It's a really great bakery. It's a Persian bakery. It's called Bahar down in Mission Viejo. Well, I think it's got a, no, it's not Bahar, I forgot the name of it. Anyway, so I go down there because I'm there to buy a cake, and it's the Moon Lady's birthday. And I go in, and the people behind the counter, and I'm okay, but it's a Persian store, right? And this happens to me frequently, I guess because of my ancestors from Spain. I have really thick eyebrows, right? So then he looks at me, starts talking to me in Farsi. Farsi is what the Persians, people of Iran, speak. And she's talking to me. And I'm like, I'm sorry, I don't speak Farsi. And her and the lady next to her look at me like, your mother did not raise you right. I was like, well, wait a minute. And they don't speak English. I'm like, I'm just here to get a cake. However, in the back, that's what I say about this community being so friendly towards immigrants. I hear music in Spanish, and they're playing like Banda Jerezan or Banda MS Sinaloa, or, you know, the polka. Anyways, I call them, hey, can you get us a cake? Oh, sure. And now they understand. Right? It's like, oh, but you don't, okay. So then I order the cake, and then I say, but I have a special favor. And what is it? I go, I need you to write this down in Farsi, happy birthday. So the Mexican bakers don't speak very good English. None of them speak Farsi. And we're there for about 10 minutes trying to figure out what I want. And then I remember, wait a minute, somebody told me how to say happy birthday. I said, so I make the hand like the sign. I go, tavalodet. And they said, oh. And then I try to, well, so I say, oh, wait, what's the second part? I say, tavalodet mubarak. Is that correct? Oh, yes, we got it. So they finally wrote it down, and the lady's still looking at me like, you're faking it. I know you're faking it. What's wrong with you? Didn't your mother raise you right? Here we are, we've arrived. This is the mission at San Juan Capistrano. This is the Basilica, and it's beautiful in there. I'd like to go in there, but because of COVID-19, a lot of it's closed. But for a lot of people, it's a really great place to visit. And so there's a mission here on the left. It's also a museum, and it was established something like in the 1700s by a priest named Junipero Sierra. And what it was is in those times when the Spanish Empire had taken a lot of these lands, they would also send a humanitarian mission along with soldiers. And in this case, it was this priest, Junipero Sierra. And he established this mission. A big part of it was the concrete communications to open up communication lines, but he also did a lot of humanitarian work with the people that already lived here.
Unfortunately, that kind of didn't work out in the long run because of government policies against the native people, the original peoples of this land. But it's a really wonderful place, and there was a song about this place like in the 1940s, and it was like when the swallows returned to Capistrano. And I only know that because I used to watch Huell Hauser, California Gold, when I was a kid. But it's pretty cool cycling. It gets a little bit busier here. There's some nice shopping. The museum right there is on my left, and it's like $9.50 to get in. I think it's open today, but most of the week it's not, and it's very limited to how many people can go in. And so there's a lot of really cool shops. You got to pay for parking, but I definitely recommend that you come by and visit. There's like even this movie theater. It's closed, of course, due to COVID and whatnot. But if I get really tired and I get here, the good thing is that this is also a train station, and this takes me all. If I want to, I can jump on the train and it would take me back home for like $14.50. But if I choose to, I can. This train goes all the way to downtown LA, Union Central. And I think it's like the first stop. So it's a very cool place to visit. And so speaking of horses, right? So it's a very cool place to visit. So for now, I'm just gonna make a nice stop at this coffee shop. They have good mochas. It's called Hidden House. Yeah, and we'll see you in Dana Point. So here we are, top of Dana Point Harbor. Check this out. Even when life seems uncertain, keep paddling. I love that. And it's cool, it's a surfboard. There's not a lot of surfing because this is a harbor. But I came up here from a really, really steep climb. If you can see the cliffs, it's really steep in that direction. And there's also good hiking over here. It's very, very, very cool spot. If you ever come down here, there's a section on the street here on my left. There's free parking. You don't have to park anywhere. You can park there and then come over here and take a look at the harbor at night. It's really beautiful. Sometimes when the light, or in the mornings when it comes up, it's really beautiful down there. So this is again Dana Point Harbor. It's really fantastic. If you wanted to kick your butt, take that street that goes all the way from the bottom up to here. So this is Laguna. We've arrived to Laguna Beach, and this is one of my favorite spots. Not the beach itself, but there's a particular part here. It's right off of 9th and Pacific. As you can see, we'll be approaching it pretty soon. It's called 1,000 Steps Beach. It's 600 steps to get to the bottom, but there's free parking. You don't have to pay for it. It's out here, and it's pretty difficult. It's open right now. It's open most of the time. But if those of you, especially, you know how ladies are always obsessed with getting that better booty, I would say definitely come here because you're going to get a serious butt-kicking, booty-blasting workout if you do the 1,000 Steps Beach. And like I said, it's free parking. Sometimes it'll be busy on the weekends, but it just depends what time you come in, what time you get here. If you get here early in the morning, then it's not too bad. There's not a lot of people there, and on certain days, like if you come in like on a Saturday at 11 o'clock, of course, it might be a little more packed, depending on the weather. But I really like it. It's fantastic, and this whole area is pretty nice. I'm going to talk about it a little bit more when we get further on down, but it's a great beach, and I like that I'm getting a lot of hills in this area because it's good for my legs, obviously. But yeah, check it out. So 1,000 Steps Beach on 9th Street and PCH. So cool.
folks. We are now in Laguna Beach, and this city is full of, well, especially on the beach, it's full of art galleries, boutiques, and it's a real patron for the arts. So in the 1960s, a lot of artists started coming down here before any of this was developed. And from then on, it just sort of developed into this really great artistic place. During Christmas, it's awesome. They hang up so many lights and props for people to come in. But it's also great for shopping, clothing, restaurants. People will say, well, yeah, everything's a lot more expensive. It's true, but consider how much the lease must cost in a lot of these places. And so, of course, we're going to charge a little bit more to pay for those leases. But a lot of the restaurants are open. They have open dining. As you can see, this is not ideal for navigating. Come on. Come on. Howdy. It's not ideal for navigating. They don't have bike lanes. And, of course, a lot of people, they don't see you. And again, it's in the beach, but it's a sort of a beach urban environment. Parking is also going to be a little bit more than if you go to someplace further inland. But again, you know, people don't come here for the parking, they come here for the amenities, the restaurants, the atmosphere, the ambience, and so on. How you doing? Come on out. So during the summer, it's pretty bad to do any cycling in this area. I wouldn't recommend it. And again, they don't see you, so you have to be aware of that. So you can see I'm going down the middle here because on the right side it's a bit more crowded. On my left, there's a really great park. They're refurbishing all of it. It's great for basketball pickup games when the court's open. So I really recommend it. To the right, off of Broadway and PCH is where you would have the pageant of Masters. And the tickets they're not that expensive, but it's really great. You know, if you're ever down in Orange County, Laguna Beach, you got to come by and check it out. It's a fantastic show. There's the basketball pickup. Now, to be fair, it's not like the basketball games at Venice Beach or Rutgers Park in New York. You won't find that. So you get a lot of kids, a lot of just, you know, regular people that want to come over, but everybody's really friendly. Cool. And this is one of the more popular venues. It's the Earth Cafe. It's really great at night. I like their cocoa. But you've got all these galleries that are here. And I've been into a bunch of them, and everybody's got their own style. You'll find a combination of everything from oils to acrylics, avant-garde, modern. Some places specialize like in Cubism or Impressionism. But it's just a really, really great place to walk around. And this shop is very cool. They have all kinds of trinkets, handmade stuff, beadwork, you name it. But it's a really great spot, and it's affordable. It's not like you're gonna pay $100 for a stone, not the country. But it's full of just these really great places here. A lot of times, if you come in, like I think after 8 o'clock, parking's free. And on certain days, parking's free. So they make it really beneficial and stuff. And over there by across from that Earth restaurant, or Earth Cafe, there's a section that overlooks the beach. I'm not gonna go over there right now because I'm still training on this. I have a lot of hills to go, but it's fully accessible. So if you're in a chair and you want to see some really great spots, you got to come down here. For me, I find it very inspirational to see these beautiful homes, stores, the artwork, the atmosphere, the attitude of people here. I really enjoy it. For me, I look at it as something that if you have the right work ethic, the skill set, the determination, the drive, it's not a bad way to live, you know? So, cool. So I'm in the city of Newport Beach, and it's not as much beach as you think. It is a lot, but a lot of it goes inland, and they just have fantastic shopping. Right over there is Fashion Island. We get really, really good shopping right behind me on PCH and MacArthur. You have huge amounts of dining and restaurants and shopping, and it's really great. You come out here on the weekend, especially Saturday and Sunday in the afternoon, 3 or 4 o'clock, and you see a lot of really cool stuff like vehicles, right? You see a lot of really high-end, high-performance vehicles like Lamborghinis, Ferraris, McLarens, Pinto station wagons. It's fantastic, you can't miss it. All right, folks.
So at this point, I'm feeling kind of tired because I'm getting towards the end, but it's Newport. And when you think of these places, sometimes you think, you know, Ferrari and Lamborghinis and Maseratis and whatnot, but it's strange to see places here closed also because of the impact on the economy. A lot of people don't know that luxury items are sometimes one of the fastest things to go out of business when there's a down economy, because they make or break their business off of one big sale. So, but at the end of it, I was pretty tired by the time I got here, and it's okay because like my legs are still pushing, and that's what I'm looking for, and I'm almost there. Yeah.
Hey, we need sound effects when you can make them yourself, right? So, I've come to the end of the training session for the day. From here on out, I'm gonna do like another 15 miles. But I'm gonna go around that way, and it's, you know, it's the same thing as before. It's just one long road going all the way down. Can you guys see the sunburn? I forgot to bring my sunblock, so it's got like, I'm gonna have like raccoon eyes. But yeah, it's great out here. If you want to do something healthy, something fun, come on out here, take your bike out. This is Santa Ana River Trail. It's also a really great spot if you want to get a workout, if you're in a wheelchair and stuff. It's really great. You can just roll up and down. You get a fantastic workout. One of the things that I noticed is that there were so many people on their bikes. I know some of them, I didn't catch them on film because of where I was, but they look so serious. They're like so angry, and it's like, dude, you're out here having a good time, man. Smile, put on some music, have a great time. I didn't see that. Maybe they're training for the Tour de France. Yeah, everybody, right? Anyways, what about that guy back in Laguna? He came out of his car. I was like, you know what? I should have. He pulled up. He didn't know what to do. I was like, license and registration. I should have done that. That would have been hilarious, but would have been a lot of fun. I've had a great day. My shoulder's feeling great. My elbow's feeling great. I've got about 15 days to go before I leave. So please remember, subscribe and like, share with your family, share with your friends. Thank you so much for supporting the ride. And I'm going to keep posting a little more frequently now that it's getting closer. And of course, when I get out there, I'll be posting on a daily basis. So thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you on the next video.